Okay, what's up, people? Excuse me. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Trades Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat and also in the description below. You can find updates there regarding Elevating Traders, more information about that, chat with other traders, chat with myself. I share ideas there as well. So if you are interested in checking that out, make sure you go do so. Link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. Philip, good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Still bullish in Euro USD, and my target's still 1.05. Okay, we'll take a look. Yeah, Euro USD's been flying. Dollar had a big meltdown yesterday. Well, probably argue that the day before was even bigger, but we had a pretty big drop there for USD. So things are looking pretty bearish on that side. And of course, Euro USD is looking pretty bullish. We'll go into that in a lot of detail. I'll share my bias with Euro USD. Things are looking very interesting in terms of the USD, maybe looking to pivot on that bias. But we are seeing some interesting moves in the market. Gold soaring to the upside as well. So a lot to go through. I've been trading my stop loss. Okay, we'll take a look at that. I'll go for the DXY first, and then we'll take a look at Euro USD. Of course, I'll go through the rest of the USD majors as well. We'll take a look at gold and silver. Varys, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Nice to see you on the stream again as well. Thoughts on Euro Pound, biases long. Okay, I'm about to go through the USD pairs, and then I'll take a look at Euro Pound shortly afterwards. Also short on dollar CHF. Okay, yeah, we'll go through that as well. So let's get to it. So yeah, in terms of the dollar, I've been very bullish on this one, looking for more upside for price to get back to the high here. However, we have already seen that momentum kick in. I was talking about this area here on Monday and yesterday as a nice place for a buy if we do see sufficient rejection there. However, we didn't really get that. I was eyeing up this area here yesterday, and we kind of just tanked straight through. As New York opened up, we just saw a lot of bearish momentum, barely any rejection on the lower time frames, the hourly time frame. As you can see, 2 or 3 big bearish candles just breaking through that area there of confluence. So price has pretty much invalidated that area. So to me on the 4-hour chart, it looks like price has had a bit of a inverse V-shaped pattern again. Really strong impulse to the upside, followed by a very strong impulse down. And we're not really seeing price respect support at all, and we're just breaking through areas of demand, areas of support. So it looks like price is likely to actually push to this low here at 1.06958, just below 1.07. So it looks like we're probably going to see some more USD weakness at this moment in time, especially with that momentum. So I would suggest on the lower time frames, especially like the hourly chart, we probably would see something like this for the dollar, a correction and a continuation back to the low. The chances of price suddenly finding support and shooting all the way back to the highs here is very slim. We could still do that, but maybe we probably will take out this low first, or at least test that low before thinking about a move such like that. The chances of seeing more downside right now are pretty high, since we are taking out all these areas here to the left, especially taking out that wick there as well. So in my book, things are looking pretty bearish right now, at least intraday for USD. We'll see what we do long term. We still got this high low here, which of course did give us that bullish leg there. So we still got that low to break in terms of the overall trend. If you zoom out for the dollar, you can see we've been pushing since September, I believe. Yeah. So the trend is still very much at play, but it does look like things are changing. The fact that we had all this momentum to the upside, but still didn't create a higher high is a big warning sign for the buyers there. Seeing such a strong break to the upside after a nice consolidation last week. If the trend is going to continue, you would expect price to go and create some new highs pretty soon afterwards. The fact that we didn't and we had such a hefty sell, it does tell me that price is failing at highs, now putting in lower highs. So the chance of us going to take out this low is now pretty high as well. So on an intraday level, I would suggest looking for more USD weakness. That's like the best play. Momentum is really bearish right now. So if you could see some type of correction, that would be nice. Even maybe a retest of this area here as well. That would be nice on an intraday level. Around 108.4, but it does look like more downside is pretty likely. And to take out these lows is probably the next goal there for the dollar. and then we'll see what happens next. Maybe we do have a bit of a recovery. Maybe price just goes and puts another lower high to continue further. Maybe we start to attack these lows here. We'll start to, piece that together once we do take out those lows. But in terms of the next couple of days, or at least to the end of the week, I do think USD weakness is probably going to continue. So yeah, pretty bearish intraday there on USD. In terms of Euro USD, of course, with USD falling like that, Euro USD is going to push in the opposite direction. We finally got the gap fill there. Well, we kind of got it yesterday, but price is really bullish at the moment. Euro USD is still in an area where we might dance a little bit, but because USD has kind of broken through that area, it does look like USD weakness is going to continue. So although Euro USD is in the area of kind of supply where we might see a bit of a reaction, which we could do, I do think Euro probably end up breaking through this. So and that goes from looking at the DXY. So I do think Euro USD is probably going to break through this. We might find a bit of friction here. We might consolidate, maybe see a bit of a dip. But I do think if the DXY is going to take out that low at 107, then Euro USD most likely probably will push back to the high there at 1.052, which I'm pretty sure is where Philip's got his target at. So that's looking more and more likely as price continues. I would say this is probably the last area of kind of indecisiveness, Philip. If price can break through this area here, should be looking good all the way back to your target. If we start to consolidate here, maybe we do go for a bit of a dip, but then again, depends how far you trailed your stop loss as well, because you might just have a slight reaction just to continue higher. Because I'm looking at potentially what the DXY might do, which again is have a bit of a pullback as well, because we are coming into support right now. So again, we might find support there, push up a little bit, but I still expect us to sell off. So it just depends how far of a pullback will we see on the DXY, how far of a pullback will we see on the Euro USD. It might be very, very minimal. It also could be bigger than that as well. But I do think we probably will break through this area, looking what the DXY is doing momentum-wise. So I would suggest the push back to the high is looking pretty likely now, especially with the higher low as well there on the 4-hour chart. But yeah, an interesting area which we're coming into now at 1.04. Watch out for that. I did say yesterday it could be some nice sells here, but now that the dollar has broken through that level, that corresponding level, the sales are not looking high probability anymore. So I would suggest more upsides looking pretty likely there now. Pound USD has been pretty bullish as well. I think we're trying to break through 1.25. Yeah, very strong close this morning. If Pound USD does go and break through the resistance here, which looks like it's trying to do, I mean, it technically has closed above, but it's not kind of a big confident breakout. We could see the next candle close right back below pretty easily. So I'm not going to get too excited, but it is some evidence that price is breaking through to the upside. And if you see the next candle close as well bullish, something like that, yeah, that would definitely be a very clear breakout, especially if you take out this high here for Pound USD. I think that's a sign that potentially Pound could be looking to turn as well. And there could be some really nice intraday pullbacks, corrections, and upside there as well. So maybe by tomorrow, we could be talking about some intraday pullbacks for more upside there as well. But yeah, I was looking for Pound USD to respect resistance here. Does not look like we're getting that, especially with this candle close this morning at 10 a.m. UK time. Very strong candle closing above. Of course, we could come straight back below, so I'm not going to rule anything out just yet. But momentum is looking pretty bullish, especially with my bias on the DXY. Looking for that to continue to sell off probably for the rest of the week. It's going to be very difficult to short Pound if that's going to happen there as well. So yeah, if Pound USD keeps this up, we probably will continue pushing. And especially if we take out that high there, 1.257, because that'll be technically a break of structure on the 4-hour chart. That's our previous high to that low. So we would see a bigger push to the upside. I know we still do have this major high all the way back there, but at least it'll give us some intraday buys. We may still sell off, but at least some upside for the next few days is pretty likely if that does happen. So that's really what I'm looking at there for Pound USD. In terms of dollar CAD, I think we had more downside yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, really hefty momentum. So again, this is looking like a really big kind of inverse V-shaped pattern, or head and shoulder pattern, if you will. Really strong move to the upside, followed by a very strong move back down. I feel like we would have had tons of retail traders selling at this level, and just because we had that nasty gap to the upside, that would have definitely flushed out a lot of traders. And since that happened, then we're seeing the move happen to the downside. So very textbook stuff there from dollar CAD, but that was a pretty big gap. So it's difficult to anticipate something like that. But yeah, dollar CAD looking very bearish. This looks like a big fake out, which would have wiped a lot of people out here. So now I do think we'll probably correct and then see a lot more downside. So even though we're coming into support right now for dollar CAD, I do think we'll probably break through this as well. Maybe we bounce first before breaking. I mean, it was a pretty strong bearish candle there on the last 4-hour candle close, but I do think price is likely gonna break through this and continue a lot further. So it's either we correct, then break through, or we just break through straight away, have a bit of a correction, and then we keep selling off. Because essentially for dollar CAD, we just had a ranging market, and I've said we're waiting for price to break out so we can look to follow that momentum. We did break to the upside, but it turned out to be a massive fake out with that gap. So it looks likely we're going to break in the opposite direction, which is to the downside. So if we do break to the downside, that should provide some nice pullback opportunities to ride that momentum. And we can start looking at price coming back to some of these areas here on the left and so on and so forth. There's a massive weekly level just below us, which we could be looking to come back and retest, which was this level here. Could be coming all the way back down there as well. So yeah, dollar CAD looking pretty bearish to me as well. Big fake to the upside, so expecting a lot more downside now. In terms of Aussie dollar, I think that one's been up to seeing some upside as well. Of course, with USD weakness, all these USD pairs will push up. So it looks like we are seeing some strength there for Aussie dollar as well. This one I haven't been such a big fan of because it's been more or less consolidation. You know, we just took out the high there, then took out the low. So price has been all over the place. It looks like we are forming a bit of a bottom potentially. Because again, long-term bearish trend. We've been falling for a while. Price is starting to consolidate now. This could be the start of potentially the bigger bullish move to the upside. So there could be some buys shortly. But I would see maybe if you can go and take out the high again there, then go and put a higher low, then that will be the low to go and attack and try and find. Because right now it's still consolidation. We can very much respect the high and come right back down again. So, yeah, that doesn't become very interesting if that's the case. But if you go and break the high, given where we're trading, if I expand to the weekly chart, you can see where we're trading right down at this low here. This is an area where we could bounce. Last time we were here, really big move to the upside. We could see another bigger move before the bigger continuation. So that could be the case there with Aussie dollar. But yeah, in terms of the 4-hour price action, is not looking great at the moment in terms of clear market structure. But if you go take up the high again, then could look to try and find the higher low. That's pretty much the same bias as well with New Zealand dollar. This one, we took out the highs as we can see. Then we also took out the lows. So I said this is pretty much consolidation. Difficult to get a good read of what the market is doing. But again, it could just be the bottom of this trend here, or at least a temporary bottom. Doesn't have to be the bottom in terms of a big reversal and a massive trend. It could be. But it might just be price forms a bit of a bottom to correct itself and then continue later. So it could be the start of that. So again, in terms of New Zealand dollar as well, in terms of the buys, if we can go and take out the highs there, look for the next pullback, try and catch that higher low, that could be the trade to focus on. And of course, right to the upside. I've spoken about a couple of areas where New Zealand dollar could get to, where shorts will look good again. So retest of the prior low there, or retest of that double bottom there as well. So that's kind of where I'm looking for New Zealand dollar to push to. Then maybe we can talk about some more sells again once we get there. But for now, really strong rejection off that low. Nice double bottom on the daily chart there. So it does look like price is going to push to the upside. Dollar CHF, I'll take a look at as well. Now go to gold and silver. So dollar CHF looking pretty bearish. And of course, dollar CHF, we've been trading for such a big weekly level. So sells have looked good for this one, at least from a top-down outlook. You know, massive resistance once, twice, now we're there again. Had a really strong reaction about a couple of weeks ago. Last candle was bullish, which gave us the another retest of the high, but looks like price has had another big rejection. So we're looking pretty bearish right now. Looks like price is just giving us a big double top there, 1 and 2. Of course, this being the neckline here. So it does look like price is probably going to push back down into that support level. And that could be a really nice target for a trade. I remember someone said they're shorting dollar CHF. Yeah, you're shorting dollar CHF. So yeah, I think shorts look really good. Nice double top of that high. We were talking about price moving towards the neckline, and could have been some intraday opportunities to short that, although yeah, very, very kind of difficult price action to get involved, but the market is still pretty bearish. So it looks like we're probably going to push back down to 0.898, which is that low. And if you can break through that, that to me is as a big sign that, okay, we're probably going to sell off pretty heavily now. And the 4-hour chart's probably going to put a lower high in for us to continue lower. So pretty bearish there for dollar CHF. Again, USD is kind of funding all of this, is the catalyst for all of this. If USD keeps that weakness up, it looks like 107 is like going to be taken out. So if that's the case, dollar CHF is probably going to keep falling. So again, from an intraday point of view, if you're looking at opportunities, maybe a retest of that consolidation could look good there. Probably want to drop maybe to the 15-minute chart just to refine that entry and maximize that risk reward and push that low. But like I said, if we do break through that low, that would entail a lot more downside as well. So yeah, pretty bearish there on dollar CHF. In terms of gold, yeah, gold's just absolutely soaring to the upside, creating new all-time highs last week, I'm pretty sure. Then we had a minor pullback this week, just about retesting the high there on the left, and then we absolutely flew. There's been some lower time frame corrections here on the hourly chart. Nice kind of bull flag there. Brief consolidation, broke to the upside there as well, and now we just continue to fly. So again, you're looking for more of the same on an intraday level, more of a correction and some more upside. As long as this momentum stays intact, you kind of keep looking to buy really. Of course, at some point in time, we do expect to see a deeper pullback for gold. But again, very, very difficult to say when that's going to happen in a market which is in a climate like this, creating all-time highs, a lot of momentum. We could push all the way to 2,900 before we have a bigger correction. So trying to anticipate any sells can be very difficult. Many people talked about they were expecting 3K by the end of last year. We haven't quite got there yet, but in fairness, we're not too far away from that. Not too far away from the infamous 3K. So who knows? Maybe we see a big move into 3K in the next few weeks. Potentially could happen. So very, very bullish right now. The bigger pullback will come at some stage, but again, we're not fortune tellers. You can't necessarily say when that's going to happen. So yeah, a lot of momentum right now. I think if you're looking to trade gold, drop to lower time frames, look for your intraday corrections, pullbacks, many techniques you can look to use to try and take advantage of that. But it looks like we'll probably see more highs going forward. Silver, though, is looking very interesting because silver looks like it's just taken out the 4-hour resistance on the left there. Yes, it has. So now silver is giving me the green light in terms of the buys all the way back to the high there. I'm expecting silver to eventually get to all-time highs, but that's very, very far away. That's around 50. I think it's 48 or something. Let me just go to the daily chart. 49.7, something like that. So again, all-time highs is very far away from silver, but the highs here is still pretty far, but pretty reasonable as well. So now that price has taken out the high there, I'm now looking for corrections for silver, and a retest of that high would be a nice place for an entry, especially maybe like the hourly chart. But the market has been pretty consistent with the higher lows. We've been very corrective, so I haven't been a big fan of that. But now it's starting to pick up the pace. Really strong move, correction, strong move again. So things are looking very interesting now for silver. A break and retest of this level looks really good. And then, of course, targets all the way up there. Well, I wouldn't necessarily be looking to target that, holding full size, but I will definitely leave positions to run because I know silver could potentially fly as well. But this is really something I'm interested in heavily now for silver. With gold doing what gold's doing, I do expect silver to eventually catch up and see some momentum as well. But yeah, very, very bullish for gold and silver. It looks like USD weakness is back, at least for the next few days, I think, back to 107. So yeah, back to that low 107 there. And then we can start to investigate what silver, dollar does next. Do we come back into this low? Or do we bounce and see a big push back up? But yeah, things are looking pretty weak for the dollar. Anyway, what is up, people? I'll go through Euro Pound for Varus. What's up, Victor? Hope you're well. Yes, we'll take a look at New Zealand yen as well. Dark Sean, good morning. Good morning. Hope you're well. Crazy moves overnight. GJ, yeah. Yen pairs doing. I don't know what's with the yen pairs. I mean, I know that they do move in the Asian session, of course, because of JPY, but we've seen so many moves lately happen over the Asian session for the yen pairs. It's kind of like 2-3 weeks in a row where it's like pretty big moves. Of course, they do move during the London and New York session, but I'm seeing probably bigger moves during the Asian session so far for the yen pairs for a while. But yeah, we'll take a look at GJ probably on the 5 minute for you as well, Dark Sean. I think I need to change the night shift. It may be the case. Like I said, it looks like a lot of the yen pairs have been seeing a lot of movement during the Asian session. Of course, things go into fashion and out of fashion. Like at the moment now, yen pairs are moving a lot during the Asian session. Then they'll go into a cycle where they're moving a bit more during the New York and London session, and they'll go back to the Asian session again. But yeah, I mean, for the time being, it could be beneficial for night shift, but then again, just depends about your sleeping hours because you don't want to have a situation where you're getting no sleep. But I hear you. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Good to have you back. Manzondi, hope you're doing well. Welcome. Ahmed, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Blessing, what's up? Euro yen, missed out on an entry for sales. Okay, we'll take a look at that one as well. Is that because the Asian session as well, Blessing? Looks like the yen pairs are having their fun tonight at the moment. What's up, Chris? Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing good. Hope you're well. Himanshu, check Euro pound long rate cut is coming through pound. Yes, I forgot about that pound interest rate decision. Isn't that on Thursday though? I don't think it's today. Or is my memory failing me? Yeah, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. But yeah, we do have the interest rate coming up for GBP. So that'll be interesting, especially if we see some weakness for pound. Then we could see a big move to the upside for euro pound. So could be a smart idea to get into some buys beforehand. But of course, anything can happen. It's not always 1 + 1 = 2 in trading. So yeah, we do have some news coming up for pound tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, we'll go through euro pound next. We'll take a look at New Zealand yen and GJ and euro yen as well. Dark Sean, just kidding. My sleeping hours are precious. I know. Join the club, mate. There's been many moves that I've missed in my trading career over the Asian session. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be waking up at 2-3 a.m. to take a trade. Number one, I'm not going to be fully focused. I could end up doing very stupid things in terms of looking to buy New Zealand yen, but then I accidentally short Euro CAD. I even do that sometimes when it's during the day. So best believe during the night, I'm going to do some very stupid errors. And yeah, waking up at ridiculous times to take a trade might not be the best thing to do. Although some people do it fine. Kudos to them. Anyway, Euro pound, that's it. I went blank for a second. Anyway, so yeah, Euro pound. I said I was looking to buy this one at 0.838. 0.832, sorry. I was looking to buy at this level here. However, we've actually broken through that. So it's a bit awkward because I am still bullish on Euro pound. I'm still looking for a move to the upside. But in terms of the level I'm looking to buy from, price is not really respecting that level at the moment. In fact, actually respecting it as resistance right now. Of course, in terms of just generally speaking, area to buy from, this is a massive area of consolidation where price had a really strong move to the upside. So although I'm specifically more focused on the level of resistance turn support, generally speaking, we're still very much in an area where we could buy from. This is where we consolidated strongly to the upside. So we could see buyers come back in and give us a push to the upside. So it's not quite fitting the plan I initially had for Euro pound, but in terms of analysis, we are still very much in bullish territory and definitely in an area where we can still see some more upside. So I think buyers in general look pretty good there for Euro pound. If we do clean up, I will look to see if I can get involved. Maybe if price does something like this, I might find some entries later in the week, probably next week at this point in time, because it needs to push down and push up first. So that could take a 2 or 3 days. But yeah, euro pound still very much in a nice area for a buy. We still do have that gap there, which price could look to go and fill. I think majority of markets have gone and filled their gaps from the weekend. Pretty sure all USD pairs have. Pretty sure most yen pairs, or if not all the yen pairs, have as well. CHF pairs, I'm pretty sure most of them have filled their gaps. CAD pairs as well. So a lot of, pretty much every market gapped coming into the week, but then I feel like 90% of markets have already filled the gap, and euro pound is one of them that hasn't yet. So that could be another incentive to expect more upside, expecting euro pound to go and eventually fill that gap. But yeah, very, very bullish on euro pound. We're still trading that monthly level of support as well. So still very much in bullish territory in the higher time frames as well. We could still see a really big push to the upside from this zone from a monthly perspective. So high time frame buyers looking to enter the markets, and previous sellers looking to exit. So this is still a very nice place for a buy. Not quite fitting my plan, but because we're still in that consolidation, I still do expect to see a push to the upside. After all, this is a past low, high, higher low, higher high. So as long as price can respect this range, there is that possibility for push up. The moment we do break through and see a close below, that will invalidate that. And I probably would look for something like a big head and shoulder pattern to form. So you got your left shoulder there, your head over there, right shoulder, and probably push back into the lows at that point. So yeah, still a nice place for a buy, euro pound. Price action, not looking that great. I'll probably say if we could push to the low, maybe form a nice double bottom there, that could be a nice place for an entry to take it back up again. But yeah, it is definitely a nice place for a long. Okay, so yeah, your bias, Varus, your bias is long, but in short time, price may go down to 0.826. 826, which is the low there. Support still expect gap to be filled at some point. Yeah, same kind of thinking as me as well, Varus. So yeah, we might push back to the low there. But of course, if we do break through that low, then that's when I will kind of change my bias, because at that point we're breaking structure, which is something we don't want to see as a buyer. We don't want lows to be taken out. We want lows to be respected. So yeah, if price does take out that low, that will invalidate the bias. If you can respect it, then of course it's still valid and we can still very much bounce to the upside. I do think I agree with you in terms of a move down first. Maybe price does break to the upside, but in terms of a good buy, at least to push back down to the low, or even that low there as well, that would make sense in terms of the buys. But yeah, that gap does look like it's still probably going to get filled at some point, especially if pound weakness does come to play from the interest rates tomorrow. That could be the catalyst that does send us up. So it would be nice if you could push down first before pushing back up. But yeah, I do agree with that outlook. Chris, if you're sure about analysis, you can set a buy or sell order, and if price gets the approach. Done that a couple of times, but don't forget your stop loss. Yeah, I mean, you could do that as well. I mean, the way I trade is I always look for entry signals in terms of candlestick patterns. So it's always difficult to try and set orders for that, because price may get to my area, but then if I don't see a candlestick pattern, I won't enter a trade. And if I set orders there, I'm kind of getting into trades without my confirmations, which can still play out. And sometimes if it does give me a better entry, because I'm not waiting for a bullish engulfing candle, for example. I'll be in the market already before that. So give me a better entry, potentially better risk reward as well. But I probably would take more losses as well, because I'm entering without confirmation. But yeah, that is a good point. You could just set orders. But of course, you have to make sure you're managing trade in terms of your stop loss, because you're not there to watch the market. If there's a unexpected news they didn't see, like a New Zealand interest rate decision, and you put your trade in without a stop loss, you could wake up to a little bit of a nightmare there. So yeah, but if you do have strategy around setting orders, then of course you could do that as well. I mean, that could be one way to avoid waking up in the middle of the night to take a trade. Okay, so let me go through GJ for Darkshon. Then we'll take a look at New Zealand yen. Sorry, we'll go through New Zealand yen for Victor. We'll take a look at GJ and Euro yen for Blessing as well. Excuse me. So in New Zealand yen, so this one we had a pretty strong move to the upside, followed by, I was going to say, a strong move back down. It was a strong candle, but hasn't really amounted to much. So the way I'm looking at New Zealand yen at the moment, it's still very much we're trapped in consolidation. So those are highs, those are equal lows. Price did break to the downside, but to me, it's looking like a big fake out. Otherwise, price should have respected the level and continued down. The fact that we broke back above is a sign more of a fake out. So I'm looking for a push to the upside here for New Zealand yen, because we're still respecting the low of the range and we still fake to the downside. So just like with dollar CAD, we had the massive fake to the upside. Of course, that's a bit more exaggerated in terms of the range here. Really massive fake out before a big move down. So this is a lot more exaggerated, but it's the same concept in terms of markets fake to go one way to potentially go the other way. And that's exactly what I'm looking at New Zealand yen doing with that move down there. So I'm anticipating more upside. Sorry, the moment we do break back underneath that support level. So let's say, for example, price and the next 4-hour candle does close below, then we've got a breakout potentially again. And if price can go and push the downside and take out these lows, then I'll be looking at more downside there for New Zealand yen. So that's the only time I'll be looking to short it. If we can see another breakout, take out lows, that will convince me that, okay, the market is probably bearish now. But for now, this looks like a fake out. Price is respecting support pretty well at the moment. So I would anticipate to see more upside and a swing back to the higher end of the range. That's kind of what I'm looking at for New Zealand yen. But really the play is, because I'm not really too interested about price in the middle of the range. I'm more interested about price when it breaks out, because when it does break out, there's two clear targets either side of the range. Whether we break to the downside, I'm looking at push back to the low here. Or if we break to the upside, I'm looking for push back to the high there. So either which way, there should be some healthy momentum in both directions, depending which way we break out. And then my plan is to try and find some pullbacks on the way up to take it back to the high, or pullbacks on the way down to take it back into the low. So either which way, there should be a good opportunity, whether we break it up or down. The only thing we need to watch out for is fake outs. Price faking to go one way and closing back inside within the range, which is what we just did. So yeah, this is really what I'm interested in for New Zealand yen. Whilst we're in here, not too interested about those opportunities. So yeah, that's really my take with New Zealand yen. In terms of GJ, Darkshon says we're seeing a lot of activity during the night, and we are, to be honest. Really big move to the downside there. A really big move to the downside. What time is that? That's 11:35, and we're pushing back down to 5:15. So yeah, that's peak Asian session. So yeah, people who trade the Asian session probably loving life at the moment with that move. At the moment, London, we're not really seeing much. It's pretty much consolidation. I reckon probably New York will probably pick up the pace again. Yeah, so a little bit flat there. But I have to say, I do like the momentum. Really big sell-off there yesterday from G. Well, not yesterday, it's actually today. Really big sell-off there from GJ. So it might be price having a bit of a pause for potentially another move back down. So I would be looking at trying to continue that momentum, possibly back down to these lows here. So what would be nice is maybe a push up back to the high there for a short. Or if price can break the low and then maybe a pullback later on, and then trying to find the next lower high. But either which way, I would try and see if I can continue this momentum here. This looks like a big impulse there. Consolidation. Another big impulse. Consolidation. Expecting another drop as well. So that's really what I see there for GJ. But yeah, at the moment, pretty flat. So either want price to push back to the high or continue to break through, and then we look for the next lower high shortly afterwards. That would be my kind of take on that. What's up, Yusuf? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Please, do you think about buying Aussie dollar on one daily time frame? Okay, I'll take a look at that in a second. I'll just go through euro yen quickly, and then I'll go through Aussie dollar for you. So euro yen blessing. You said you missed the sell. Again, that's probably because it happened overnight as well. If I drop to the hourly chart, I mean, you consolidated throughout most of the New York session, had a slight drop, but then the real move started from 11 p.m. Same as GJ, which we looked at on the 5-minute chart, really strongly to the downside. So it's like the same situation is happening there as well. So yeah, with euro yen, I was actually expecting a bit bigger of a pullback. In fairness, yesterday I was talking about these major highs, 1, 2, 3. I said I was anticipating a slightly bigger pullback for then the short. I was talking about that 0.5, 0.618 area in the fib, which kind of lines up with that zone. So if we whip out the fib with 0.5, 0.618, this is kind of the area I was looking for price to get to first before shorting, because the plan was to try and catch the next lower high. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would say that will be a healthy pullback relative to what we're seeing. And then, of course, seeing if you can short it, well, at least back into that low initially. But if everything goes well, possibly that low there as well. And we still could see that. We've had a pretty big drop now, but I wouldn't be surprised to see another move back up before we do see the continuation as well. So I wouldn't rule that out there with euro yen. We could still see a push up before coming down. Blessing, you said you missed an entry at 160.308. Whereabouts is that? 160.308. So that's roughly around here somewhere. So yeah, I mean, again, you're not going to catch every trade. Some are going to miss you, whether it happens in another session or whether you're just not at the charts to take the trade for whatever reason. You're going to miss a bunch of trades throughout the year, and that's just part of the game. It's the most important thing is about the trades that you do take. Are they of good quality? Are they taken? Do they fit the plan well? Those are the questions you want to ask yourself. But yeah, unfortunately, a missed position there. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we do push back up again into a similar territory before continuing. But yeah, I do expect to see price push back into this low, whether we kind of just roll over or we push up again, then come back down. That's going to be up to euro yen to decide, but still pretty bearish for euro yen, and it would be nice to get that bigger pullback there. But yeah, expecting another sell. I'll go take a look at Aussie dollar on the 1-day time frame, and then we'll go through the rest of the yen pairs. What's up? Follow the trend. I'm well, thank you. Hope you're doing good as well. Chris A, appreciate it, my man. Smash the like button. Yeah, appreciate it. If you are enjoying the channel, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. I do appreciate that. And of course, subscribe to the channel as well if you want to see more. You're learning and earning. Nice. Helps this stream reach more traders and help the channel grow. Appreciate it, Chris. Really do appreciate it. But yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, show some love. It does help out, and thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. Dark trend, I'm waiting for retracement, hoping for a 0.5 in the fib, and then find a sell entry. Okay. But yeah, I mean, the plan would be to look to kind of continue that momentum from yesterday. Really strong drop. Probably will see pound yen continue that in some way. Are not retail traders going to look at a bearish dollar when it's over bullish long term? Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, if if something's very bullish and it's been bullish for a while, retail traders on average will be looking to short that. And of course, if something's falling for a while, retail traders on average will be looking to buy that. Most of them, 70, 80%, according to broker stats, will be looking to buy that. But yeah, with dollar, we've been very, very bullish for a while. So retail traders will be looking to profit from this now because, of course, we've been bullish for a while. So that means a lot of retail traders will be looking to sell, as prices going up here. So now that we're actually seeing some downsides, we'll probably be seeing some profit for some of those retail traders. I mean, some will probably be, probably holding entries a lot further down, but anyone who's entered up there should be in a bit of profit now. So yeah, we'll probably see that reaction. Anyway, let me go take a look at Aussie dollar for Yusuf. So yeah, on the 1 day time frame, now I'll go through the yen pairs. So yeah, I think it's actually a decent buy, to be honest, because number one, you're trading at a very healthy area of support. If you look to the left here, massive support there. What did we do last time? We were here. We had a massive reaction that took us all the way to 0.715. And now back there again. I like the wick to the downside, piercing through that low, strong shift of momentum. I think on the daily time frame, it does look good for a buy. In terms of targets, I probably wouldn't be greedy in terms of, okay, I'm going to swing it all the way out here. We could do, but if that's the case, are we looking to take partials and trail stops along the way? I think in terms of reasonable targets, a push back to this low makes a lot of sense. I think even a push back to a minor area of support resistance around there makes a lot of sense as well. I'll probably say, generally speaking, the 50% of this range here looks good, which more or less lines up with that area there anyway. Because Aussie dollar pretty much is ranging. So, yeah, I think it looks like a really good buy. I'd probably look out for 0.63, 0.64, we'll call it, and 0.655. These areas here look good for targets. You could always leave some to run to potentially see if we can get it all the way back to 0.7 or 0.69. There is a possibility we do see that happen as well. But in terms of the quality of the price action here, really nice bounce, really strong shift in momentum. It does look like the Aussie dollar is going to push up. Also, DXY on the daily time frame, it looks like it's about to push down. Really big wick to the upside, followed by a pretty strong close yesterday as well. So it looks like that low is going to push down. We'll see if price can break underneath this level, but if it does, we could be seeing a pretty big move to the downside there for the DXY, which of course should help Aussie dollar push up as well. But yeah, on the 1 day time frame, I think it looks like a really nice buy. It looks like a really nice buy. Eric, oil sells grinding well. Okay, we'll take a look at oil as well, and then we'll go still holding the DAX to the end of Q1. Okay, nice. Yeah, that one's been flying to the upside, hasn't it? End of Q1, that'll be end of March, so another 2 months pretty much. Cease Integrated, what is up? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. The XY just melts like ice cream under the sun. That's one way to describe it. It is doing that at the moment. Euro USD Knox. Okay, let me go through let me go through oil, and then I'll take a look at euro. So yes, oil. I mean, it's yeah. I think grinding is the right way to say it. It is very much grinding to the downside, isn't it? I've been pretty bearish on pretty bearish on. Is that the no? I've been pretty bearish on oil ever since we got that rejection of that trend line from a weekly standpoint. So connecting these lower highs here. So one over there, second over there, third over there. We've got the fourth there with that massive wick. I've been looking for a push back into this area, which is support level. We have seen a nice reaction. However, we are coming back into an area of kind of demand, really, where we consolidated for a few weeks before a strong push to the upside. You can see prices testing that area at the moment. So yes, oil is still very bearish, but the fact that we're still grinding lower and not really seeing heavy momentum is a little bit worrying. Because typically, if we're going to continue a trend and continue momentum, we want to see big candlesticks, not necessarily all the time, but at least some evidence that there's a lot of force to the downside, which we haven't really seen really with this move down. It's been very, very choppy, very corrective, and grinding is a great way to describe it. So I would start to worry at this area here. If I was short oil from up there, I'd probably look to secure some profits at this level, just in case we do go through a bit of a reversal, because this looks like a big impulse to me. This looks like maybe the correction of that impulse. And maybe price is now testing this consolidation to turn around. I still do think we can get back to the low, but judging the price action and taking that new information on board, I would be a little bit skeptical at this range at 71. So yeah, things are still looking short. We're still putting in lower highs and we're still grinding lower. And, we could still very much continue on that grinding journey. But again, if we were kind of selling off like we did, back over there, brief consolidation, but we're seeing some hefty momentum over there as well. Consolidation, but we did see some hefty momentum there. That gives me a lot more confidence that price can go further. When it's kind of grinding like that, it does put me off a little bit. I would still probably hold to my target, but I would look to close some positions just in case we do turn around. But yeah, oil is still pushing down, still bearish. In terms of shorting, I probably wouldn't say now's not the best time to short because we are coming back into support demand. Not the best time to be looking to sell. Probably want to see price push up again, maybe closer to that high there before we look to short. But this is now bullish territory, so I'd watch out for that. In terms of Euro USD, we are kind of coming into an area where price could react, but things look pretty bullish, I would say. So I would suggest watch out for that. I did talk about this area here yesterday as an area where we could potentially see another lower high, and one over there, second over there, could see a third. However, judging what the dollar is doing, it looks like the dollar is going to push back to the low at 107. We're probably going to see Euro do the same, of course, in the opposite direction, which is probably going to take us back to the high there at 1.05200. So I'm pretty bullish on Euro, at least intraday over the next 2-3 days, more or less to the end of the week. I do think Euro USD will push up as USD falls. So shorting Euro USD at this area right now may look good in terms of the zone, but in terms of what dollar's doing, I don't think it's a good opportunity anymore. And the moment we do take out this high here, I do expect us to go and take out this high next pretty much. So I'd watch out for selling Euro USD. Does not look good anymore, especially with what USD with DXY is doing. And I would expect us to push back to 1.05200 now. So I actually do expect Euro USD to continue in this bullish journey here. Again, in terms of buying as well, now's not the best time either. Approaching some supply, this consolidation, this gave us that move to the downside with the gap there. So it's not the best time to be looking to buy either. It's not really looking like the best time to sell either as well. So I'll probably stay away from Euro unless we can break through, maybe give some intraday pullbacks afterwards. That could look good maybe tomorrow or Friday. But at the moment in time, I'm not really seeing a nice buy there, even intraday as well. So that's kind of my outlook for Euro. I'll quickly go through the DAX and then I will go through the rest of the JPY pairs because I was supposed to go through those earlier. The DAX, last time I checked, is still looking pretty bullish. Did we break through that level of resistance? Oh, no, we didn't. The DAX looks pretty good. I still like this level back down here at 2,500. Really massive level of resistance will be turned support. Basically what we did over here, really nice breakout, retest, and then of course we flew. Could see a repeat of that pattern basically. Another retest at the same area and a big push to the upside. I think that still looks like a nice buy there for the DAX. In terms of current price action, we're coming to an awkward level where if price does break through, I just naturally expect us to get back to the high again. So if we do manage to climb, let's move this out the way. If we do manage to climb through that level, then we're probably going to push back to the highs. If we do respect it, we could form something of a head and shoulder pattern, which again is a bit aggressive because the trend is still very much up. So it's always difficult to try and look for reversal opportunities, especially in a bullish climate like this, which the DAX has been in for a while. So the shorts do look okay for trying to anticipate that right shoulder, but what would be a more conservative opportunity would be waiting for the break of the neckline. So this support level there, then looking for the next lower high afterwards. So you've got one high over there, second with that right shoulder if it does form, and of course third on the retest of the neckline or somewhere around that area. Then of course targets, wherever you see fit, but I'll be looking at a push back to 2,500 and then maybe some buys again. But yeah, overall, the direction of the trend is still very much up. So the buys look good. We're probably going to push back to the high there eventually, whether we push down and then push up or just break to the high straight away. I'm still very bullish on the DAX there. So I would keep a close eye on 21,500. If that does break, that's going to take us right back to the high straight away. If it doesn't, there might be some nice sells there. But then I think this is the safer trade to take on the retest of that level. But yeah, generally speaking, pretty bullish there for the DAX. Anyway, in terms of the yen pairs, we went through euro yen. In terms of pound yen, yeah, pound yen, I was looking for a short back at the retest of the high. Again, I've been looking for a really big move to the downside for most of the yen pairs. But in terms of entries, these were the two areas I was looking to take on the 4-hour chart, a push up to the high, then the sell. Or if you were very bullish, I would be looking for a push all the way up there, then the sell from there. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Or we could still very much do this one. This one's a lot further away. But yeah, pound yen still very bearish on the way I see it on the higher time frames. Again, really strong impulse to the downside. Still looking at this as a big correction for price to continue its path back to these lows here. So that's why I'm liking the yen pairs quite a lot from a higher time frame point of view, because there could be a really big sell with them. And it's an opportunity which I don't really want to miss out on. But there's a few different yen pairs all kind of setting up in different ways. So it's just about finding the better one and jumping into that trade there. But yeah, with pound yen, I was looking for a push back into 194.6. Still am, so waiting to see if we can get that move. If we're very bullish, I'll look at 199.5 all the way up there. But the plan is I'm expecting a pretty big move to the downside there for pound yen. In terms of CAD yen, so this one as well, a little bit choppy. We were very, very bullish yesterday, breaking back above that low. Did respect the high there a little bit. I think this one could still provide a nice sell opportunity. If I connect the highs there with a trend line there, you can see we've got one over there, second over there. Could be looking at a third. Maybe if we do push back to the high again, that could give us a nice sell. Double top at that trend line, lower high, and then we can short it back into the low. Or if we do push a lot higher, I am again looking at the highs there, 111.5. If I jump to the daily chart, I think that's still a really nice place for a big short. For a push right back to these lows. Same situation as pound yen. Massive impulse, big correction. Most likely going to see that happen there for CAD yen. But if we don't see that bigger push, then I am looking at that more kind of 4-hour lower high, which could form in the retest of that trend line there. Got some nice confluence for that. That could be a really nice short back into the low and so on and so forth. So CAD yen could be an opportunity again in the next couple of days, even before that, next day, really much. Pretty much. So keeping a close eye on that. But again, with the yen pairs, kind of looking for one more move up before the sell. So CAD yen, a push up there for a sell. Pound yen, a push up there for a sell. Euro yen, a push up as well for a sell. Push back into that area, then a sell as well. So if we can see that one more last bullish leg, there could be quite a few opportunities on the yen pairs. There might be a situation where I'm picking between a few, seeing which one's better. Those three, though, are probably where I'm most focused with, because Aussie yen and New Zealand yen are still stuck in their respective ranges. So there's not a lot for me to do with these ones. So Aussie yen still within the range there. This looks like it just was a fake out. I need price to recommit back below the low of the range before I start considering shorts again. Otherwise, this could be a big fake to the downside for a big push up, which I'm not really interested in. I'm more just interested in price just breaking out of this range and then looking for opportunities outside of that. Basically looking to ride momentum. I'm expecting a push right back to this swing low down here. If we break to the downside and if we break to the upside, of course, I'm looking for a push back to the high there at 102.250. So very, very bullish for Aussie yen as well. Well, if we break the high, I will be very bullish for Aussie yen. But I am long-term bearish for Aussie yen as well, expecting that low to be taken out. Even if we do break to the upside, I'll be expecting us to double top that and come straight back down. So eventually I do see a big move down. Just hit the mic there. Eventually I do see a big move down, just about being patient, but I need price to be outside that range as long as we're inside of it, not interested. And New Zealand yen doing the same thing as well, still trading inside that range, so not much for me to do. In terms of CHF JPY, this one was very close to testing that consolidation on the 4-hour chart before it's looking pretty bearish again. So I was looking to see if we can tap back into this consolidation here. But as you can see, price just about missed it before pushed down pretty aggressively there. Then we saw the continuation during the Asian session. But again, for CHF JPY, I'm looking for a push into that low. So again, if you can push the upside there, retest that area, it could be a nice short. Again, potentially tomorrow. If I connect it with the trend line, it kind of lines up pretty well there as well. So yeah, CHF JPY to me is probably one of the cleaner ones because we're still putting in lower highs here. So again, another push back to the high as long as we can respect that range. Looking for the next high in the sequence, nice double top. And since then, we've been forming these lower highs. I'm expecting a push back to the low. And in fairness, I'll be expecting price to go a lot further as well, really. I'll be looking for a push back to this low here at 166 or 165, 600. So very, very bearish in CAD, CHF JPY, Swiss yen as well. Just looking for the next lower high. Yes, Sinalo, I'm about to take a look at dollar yen as well. So dollar yen was actually the only yen pair I've been looking to long. However, with this bearish move, we have broken through the zone I was looking to buy from. So as price came into this area, I was looking for a long there. I said yesterday, price can spike through that low and then recover, give me a strong bullish engulfing candle. I will look for a buy, but I never got it. And of course, price is now breaking through. So the fact that I didn't get my entry signal did keep me out of this position, which in hindsight looks like it was the right move because it probably would have been a losing position. But I didn't really get the signals I was looking for, so I stayed out of the market. If we do recover, again, it may still give me something I'll look for. But at the moment, we're trading below that zone. And all of this is now becoming resistance, which could send us further down. So dollar yen start to look a little bit bearish. I'm still not looking to sell it just yet. I'm still looking at the higher time frames here, which again is this impulse, correction, impulse. This could just be another correction, although slightly bigger than anticipated. Just another correction for another impulse to the upside, potentially taking us back to the high there on the left at 162. So the way I see dollar yen is still from a bullish bias, even though we had that big drop this morning. We're still putting in low in higher highs and higher lows. Sorry. So if that does continue, then that is our next big target for dollar yen. So I can't be looking to sell the pair just yet, but maybe we're getting closer to that. I mean, if all the other yen pairs, which I do have a bearish bias for, if they all do sell off, then the chances are that dollar yen is probably going to sell off as well with it. So maybe I do swap my bias around soon, but it's not quite ready to be sold just yet. So I'm still looking for longs, but it has broken through my confluence. So I'm going to kind of just sit on the sidelines and see how that does develop, if I do get an opportunity to place a trade or not. But yeah, strong break of the low. If anything, we might see price pull back and continue, especially with USD looking pretty weak as well. And then let me take a look at Henry. Yes, I will go through gold. Let me take a look at the JPY basket quickly, and then we'll go through gold. Okay, so the JPY basket, very hefty sell there, which closed right back below that level. So this is a level I'm keeping a close eye on, but to me, it looks like price is still forming higher lows. So we just created the high there, higher low, higher high. This potentially might be the next higher low. So because we have broken through this area here, even though we did have a really aggressive move back down, to me, it does look like price is still going to push back to the high there, which is more of a bearish signal for the yen pairs. If the JPY basket is bullish, that means the yen pairs are going to sell off. And if you do push back to the high, then maybe you start pushing back to this high and that high and so on and so forth as well. But we are being pretty consistent with the higher lows here. High, the initial low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This to me looks like another higher low. So maybe if the JPY basket can have one more sell, maybe double bottom there, that would be very, very nice in terms of opportunity. So that could give us another pullback on Euro yen, CAD yen, pound yen, Swiss yen as well. And that could end up being a really nice buy there for the JPY basket, but a really nice sell for the yen pairs I just mentioned. And yeah, targets really much back at 6,800, or at least back to the high there at least. So yeah, JPY pairs do look pretty bearish at this moment in time. They do look pretty bearish. So yeah, it would be nice to see one more correction and then hopefully some buys shortly after. 61 fib is out for dollar yen. Yeah, we could bounce at the 0.618. If I zoom out, because I think we just broke through the 50. So yeah, we are coming to the 0.618. So we could bounce from there, but again, I don't really have a lot of confidence at the 0.618. I had a lot more confidence at the 0.5 because we had this consolidation on the left here, which gave us a very strong move to the upside. So I had a lot of momentum from that area. Whereas this area, there is a slight area of consolidation, but it's not the big one. This is the big one that gave us a really strong move up. This is more minor. It doesn't really fit the idea of what I'll be looking to trade myself. And there's no other confluence really I can see just yet. So yeah, we could bounce at 0.618, but it lacks confluence, which would tick my boxes. Of course, if your boxes are ticked, then I don't want to talk you out of taking a position, but I need to see some really strong evidence if price is going to recover. At the moment, nothing there yet. But yeah, we are testing 0.618. We could bounce from there, but I need a little bit more than that for me to take any positions. And yeah, in terms of gold, gold is flying high, absolutely soaring to the upside. So as I said, if you're looking to trade gold, you're pretty much just looking for pullbacks and more upside. As you can see, that's what price has been doing pretty well for the past few days. Again, at some point, we do expect to see a deeper correction for gold and a bit of a sell-off because we're at all-time highs. But at the end of the day, we don't know how far price is going to go. We don't know how far price is going to go if we remain in this kind of climate here. What I can say though, and what we are sure about, is that there is a lot of momentum in the market still. So if you do see another correction, the chances of us price creating new highs after that is pretty high there. So push back to 28.98, 28.98, sorry, 2900 is what I meant, is the next big psychological level for me for gold. So that could be where price is headed towards. And we're not too far away from that region. We smashed through 2800. So 2900 is now the next big level. Then after that, we got 3K. So who knows? Maybe the next month or two, we could be trading at 3K. So yeah, very, very bullish for gold. Keep an eye for that bigger pullback, but not really seeing any evidence of that happen just yet. So yeah, I expect price to keep pushing. Sayanda, what's up? Take on silver. Okay, I'll go through silver. Yeah, I do really like silver, to be honest. It's just going to take out a really nice high on the 4-hour chart. So silver's actually a pair which is on my watch list. And I will be looking for entries around 31.73. We're just going to take out that high. So I do expect us to now push all the way back to that high there as well. So again, if you can catch another pullback, another high low, then I'm looking for price to absolutely fly. Of course, with gold being very bullish as well, you do expect silver to kind of do the same thing together almost. And I do think the difference between gold and silver is that gold's already at all-time highs, so it's already very, very bullish. But silver's nowhere near all-time highs, so I do think silver's going to do a lot of catching up over the next few months. So I do anticipate to see a lot of bullish momentum with this market. So very, very bullish with silver. We're going to take out the highs there. My main worry with silver was the fact that we could form a lower high because we were having this very corrective move to the upside. So I wonder, is price forming another lower high to push back down? It didn't because it's broken through the high now. So that kind of rules that out of happening. So pullbacks and more upside, trying to catch the next higher low, and hopefully we can ride that a lot further. But that there is the plan for silver, and the long-term goal is a push back to 34.8. So yeah, very, very bullish on silver. Hey, what's up, John? Good morning. Hope you're well. DXY is now filled the gap. Yep. And may bounce up from there. I'm not that convinced with dollar at the moment, to be honest. Yes, it's filled the gap. It potentially could bounce, but judging momentum and the way it's moved, it's looking more like price is having a very aggressive V-shape or inverse V-shape pattern here, which is when we have a strong impulse in one direction followed by an impulse back in the opposite direction, which is a very common reversal pattern in the market. So in my book, I do think DXY probably will continue lower. We might have a bounce from here in terms of, price may look to correct itself like this, for example, before continuing lower. But I would expect to see the bigger move to be to the downside to go and take out these lows at 107. So there might be a bounce here. We are coming to support. We did see a really aggressive wick. Was that last week or the week before? Just missed it there. So really aggressive wick, and we did push the upside, of course, which gave us that move there. But judging how prices moved with this massive impulse and coming down very aggressively as well, I do think we probably will break through this area and push back into the low. So yes, we could see a bounce here. Some buys could look good in maybe the next hour or two, but I don't expect us to go too far. And if we do, I think it's just going to be a correction for us to keep selling off. Maybe we push back into this area, which would actually be a nice buy, would actually give us a nice sell as well if that was to happen. But I do expect us to take out that low. So I'm more fixated about the sells rather than the buys. But yes, we're in an area which we could react. And Euro USD, in fairness, is in the area which, again, we could react as well. So we might see Euro, go for a bit of a pullback. But again, for Euro's case, I still expect us to break through and push back to the high as long as the DXY does the same as well. So yeah, I would agree we could see a bit of a bounce because of that. But I do think we will continue lower eventually. Okay, so I will take a look at pound CHF. Eric, no problem. Potential move back to the high, looking at 4 hour. Okay, we'll have a look at that one as well. Okay, let me zoom out. Okay, so we're still very much in the range. I'll go to the daily chart. So yeah, we're still very much in this range here for pound CHF. So yeah, in my book, pound CHF, are you looking for a pushback to the high? So more or less the high here. So around 1.136, 137. If you're looking for a push there, then yeah, I would say price looks pretty likely to get there as well. I mean, we're just coming from a bounce off the low of the range. So naturally speaking, price has got a pretty good chance of getting back to the high of the range as well. However, in terms of buying it, it's just a bit difficult because I would never really want to take an entry in this location. Not because you can't get a winning trade, as I say many times. It's just not the optimal place or location to find an entry inside the middle of a range. Typically, you want to spend most of your time looking for entries right at the low or right at the high, because you want to kind of in a range. You're kind of thinking, I want to be the lowest buyer or the highest seller. Of course, not necessarily in terms of literally being the lowest buyer or the highest seller, but generally speaking, the lower you buy, the better. The higher you sell, the better. Because price is trapped between two levels, and as long as that stays true, it means as soon as price gets to resistance, yes, it might fake resistance and it might consolidate and produce wicks or whatnot. But if the market's going to hold the high and respect the range, it's going to come back down. And you can keep your risk pretty minimal. Say if you get an entry right at the high, stop loss is there. In terms of the width of the range, you're looking at a much bigger reward than your risk there. So it makes sense to be entering high as possible, and same thing with the buys. So in terms of pound CHF, because we're in the middle of the range, I would never really look for entries at this location. Not that price isn't going to push back to the high there at 1.136 or 1.37. But in terms of a buy, it's always difficult because price is a bit more chaotic in the middle of the range. It throws wicks a little bit more indecisive and difficult to kind of predict. So yeah, I think Is a good chance we do push back to the high. But in terms of finding a good entry for pound CHF, I think it's pretty difficult, and I would stay away personally. I mean, there is a slight channel to the upsides here, so something like this could look okay, but just because it's in the middle of a range, it does put me off. Like I'm saying, doesn't mean you won't take a winning trade here. It's just on average, it's much better to enter right the lows or right the highs, where you can maximize risk reward and just be in better locations in general. So yeah, that's kind of my take on pound CHF. I'm going to go through some of the indices and Bitcoin as well. I was supposed to go through them after the USD pairs, but I completely forgot. So we'll go through some of the USD pairs as well. We'll take a look at some of the crosses, some more CHF pairs, CAD pairs we haven't gone through either. Of course, if there's any other particular pairs you do want to see my analysis to, let me know in the chat. And also, if there's a certain time frame as well that you do want me to look at as well, let me know, because of course I'll look at the time frames which I normally look at, but I know some of you are intraday traders or trading the daily time frame as well. So let me know if there's a specific time frame you want me to take a look at. In terms of the indices, NAS 100 I don't really like. Very, very choppy price action. To me, this is just a rangy market, so it's difficult to say what price is going to do next whilst we're inside of this range. So we've got equal highs over there, equal lows mostly over here. Of course, a few kind of times we've dipped outside, so fake outs, if you will. But more or less, prices respected, support there at 2800 and resistance at 21,800. So a difference of 1,000 pretty much is that range there. So price is being respected in that pretty well. So in terms of entries, again, I would wait for price either to push back to the low or the high of the range for entries. I'll be more inclined to be looking for buys in this situation, because I know that the high time frame trend with the NAS is very bullish. We got a very confident trend here. Markets making higher highs and higher lows. So as a result, I still want to be a buyer of this market and not really want to be a seller. Although, yes, we're doing a pretty good job of respecting resistance. Yeah, I do fear that the next test may be the breakout, which does send us back to the highs here on the left and so on and so forth. If I can get a buy here, of course, I do run the risk of potentially price breaking to the downside against me, but I'd rather take that risk knowing that the higher time frame is bullish. So there's probably a greater chance that we do push on. And if things do go well, it could be a situation where you do bank most of your profit at the high, but leave some positions to run just in case we do continue to take out the high and of course trend higher as well. So I'd rather focus on the longs than the shorts here of the NAS. And yeah, if I'm going to take some longs, it has to be down at 2,800 at that low. At the moment, I know we filled the gap there, but we're in the middle of nowhere really. Price action looks awful. So not a big fan of NAS 100 here. US 30, what's happened with this one? Okay, we had this sell yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before yesterday, I think. So you had a nice reaction at that level there. So again, I think this is still a nice place for a short, but I'll be careful because again, US 30 is still a very bullish market. Although we are struggling at those prices, I do think the bigger move is still to go and take out the high here, which we actually didn't quite do yet. We just missed out on that. I mean, if you do break through resistance there, then of course intraday pullbacks will look good to ride it back up again. So if you do break above that, looking for break and retest really of the high, and that will be a nice trade to take back to 45k, which is pretty much the high. So yeah, US 30, the bigger move, I still do see it to the upside. We're still coming to a nice area of supply resistance. Previously was support there, so I still think this is a nice place to short from. But should we break through, I would no longer be looking at sells anymore and more interested in the buys, looking at some type of correction to take us back to the upside. And in terms of the S&P, again, I'm not a big fan of the price action on the indices, really. Very, very messy, especially with the gaps that we've had recently. So again, S&P came back into a nice area of resistance as well, respecting a couple times. If price does go and break through it, I do think again that'll be a nice buy to take it back to where we came from. Equally, if we do respect it, could see price sell right back down again. So it's going to be very important to see how price does react at that level, because then that will give us the indication of what price is likely to do next, whether we respect the high and then sell off again, or we break through, have some type of correction, and then continue to the high. That will make our mind up for us. But yeah, a bigger move I still am pretty bullish on for S&P. It's just very, very messy price action. You can see overall the market is a bit flat right now. Equal highs, equal lows. So we haven't been trending well. I mean, if you look over here, very clear-cut trend. You can see what price is trying to do. Now we're starting to chop around a little bit more, which could be a sign that we are starting to top out for S&P and could be looking at a bigger correction in the next few weeks, few months. So it could be a sign that that is happening. Or it could just be a sign that price is just having a bigger pause than normal before continuing the trend and continuing to the upside, which most of the time is the case. So yeah, still very bullish on S&P, slightly flat, but in terms of intraday opportunities, I'd focus on that level, sells below and buys above. And if I have a quick look at the UK 100, haven't looked at this one for a while. Okay, so we did get the break and retest. We did get a nice continuation. But yeah, with the UK 100 probably going to go into a big consolidation pretty soon, so I'd watch out for this one. I think in terms of the buys, it still does look good for another push back down again, but I would be careful because this one does range a lot, especially after its big breakouts. Yeah, it does go through a lot of ranges. I think another one's probably going to form pretty soon. So yeah, longs look good, but I'd wait for another push back to the low there at 40. No, not 40. Sorry, 84.54. Then talk about some, and then look at some buys down at that low. What's up, Lauder? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Any markets you're looking at, let us know. If you guys are enjoying the content, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I do really appreciate it. And of course, hit the bell as well if you don't want to miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. So we've gone through the indices. We've gone through USD, JPY markets. We'll take a look at some of the CAD pairs and we'll take a look at some of the crosses as well. So CAD pairs, last time I checked, have been pretty bearish, although I think they've seen a bit of upside since we last spoke. So I take a look at New Zealand CAD. So yeah, the current daily candle is looking pretty bullish, but this may just be a really nice opportunity for a short because I'm still very bearish here for New Zealand CAD. Zoom out, look at the bigger picture. Still seeing lower lows and lower highs in this channel here. So the plan is to look for another swing back to the lower end of the channel, which is back at the low here, 0.79987. So that's still the move I'm looking for. We've got the prior swing highs here, 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 over there. Well, anticipating it to be 4. It's not confirmed yet because, of course, we haven't seen a new low yet, but I'm anticipating that to be the 4th. And, of course, we had a really nice double top. Price respect to the higher once, twice, bit of a fake out there, strongly to the downside, breaking through the neckline. So now the plan is to look for a lower high and then a continuation back into that low. So a bit more of an intraday opportunity. If we drop to the hourly chart, I would say something like this looks pretty good. Retest the low, see if we can get some sufficient rejection there. And then again, it doesn't need to be necessarily a swing all the way to that low. That's why I'm expecting price to go from a 4-hour point of view. But from an intraday point of view, a trade back into this low here makes a load of sense. And you probably can get a decent risk reward, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, maybe, depends on the entry. But you could probably still be working with a decent risk reward there. But yeah, very, very bearish in New Zealand CAD as well. I like this move to the upside because it means pullbacks on the lower time frames. If we can see sufficient rejection around the 0.813 mark, I think that's a really nice place to short, at least back into the low there. And then if everything goes well, we can always leave some positions to run back into the swing low on the 4-hour chart as well. Lorna just sold GJ last night. Okay, closing profit this morning. Nice. Cool. A really nice move over the Asian session. We were just talking about that earlier, how a lot of the yen pairs have moved quite a lot during the Asian session. So quite a few people have missed out on some moves. But congrats. Still waiting for tomorrow and Friday on USD pairs. Okay, I see. Do you have a bias for the USD pairs? Looking to buy or sell them? USD is looking pretty weak right now, so might see more of the same with USD weakness continuing. But I'm not really seeing many crystal clear opportunities to buy the USD majors right now. Euro USD not really, pound USD not really either. Maybe on intraday there might be a little bit more development there, but yeah, not really seeing that just yet. We can take a look at a couple of them in a second. Let me just go through the rest of the CAD pairs. So Aussie CAD as well. So this one doesn't look as clean as New Zealand CAD. Again, it's the same sort of pair. They move 90% of the time in the same direction. Again, we do have a much larger bearish channel here, so connecting these lower highs, 1, 2, and again anticipating a third here. We're looking for a push right back to the low at 0.88522. That's the direction I'm expecting price to move in. We did see price break through the neckline as well, so we had the double top pattern too. So equal highs, strong break to the downside off that bit of a fake out. However, the pullback's not looking as clean. We're breaking back above the low here. Potentially might be coming back to retest this kind of wick area. We saw so many wicks form in that area. We might come and do the same before selling off. So that's not a bad outlook for a sell there. But generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of that trade there. New Zealand CAD looks a lot cleaner. Lovely break of the neckline. It looks like we're just coming back to retest it. So, and because New Zealand CAD and Aussie CAD do the same thing most of the time, it's best just to focus on the better price action, which New Zealand CAD is definitely giving me there as well. So bearish on both of them, but New Zealand CAD looks a little bit better. So I would focus on that one. In terms of pound CAD, again, looking for a move to the downside for this one. We had a really strong rejection of the high. So there's your resistance, really strong rejection of the high there. I've talked about push back into support around this area, which is pretty much the 50% of the range. So again, if I whip out the fib from the low to the high, you've more or less got the 50 around there. That's kind of where I'm looking for pound CAD to get to. We didn't quite see that happen. Got about 3/4 of the way there before having a bit of a pullback. But again, I do expect us to continue down. So there could be a nice hourly time frame short, which could develop over the next few hours. And then going over to EuroCAD. Yeah, EuroCAD, again, not a big fan of this one either. One area which we could be falling at the higher low. We've got one over there, second over there, could be forming a third. That would worry me. I would like to be in shorts a little bit earlier. So yeah, not a big fan of EuroCAD right now. We respect the high pretty well, but ideally you kind of want to already be in the short. And because the market is just very choppy as well, very flat, equal highs, equal lows, no kind of real trend. Not a big fan of the price action either. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with the CAD pairs. Overall, still pretty bearish on most of them, but New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD look a lot better, especially New Zealand CAD as well. So I think shorts from an hourly point of view could develop into a nice trade maybe this afternoon. If not, probably the Asian session. If not, probably London tomorrow. Thing is just a pullback on Euro and GU, still looking to short. Okay, buy USD CAD and dollar CHF, but I shall wait for that. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at potentially swapping my bias around for some of those pairs. Maybe not necessarily long term. We still haven't broken for any major areas yet for me to switch that bias around. And I'll go through them shortly. But at least intraday, things have shifted a little bit, especially with the price action in the DXY. So that's kind of why I'm looking for a little bit more weakness on the USD, which could translate to more strength on euro, pound, etc. as well. But we'll take a look at some setups there. But of course, things can change very quickly. Rebecca, what is up? Hope you're well. What do you think of gold? Yeah, gold I'm very, very bullish on as well. Gold's been absolutely flying to the upside, new all-time high after new all-time high. So yeah, expect a lot more of the same with gold. Again, a bigger correction is on the cards, a bigger pullback is on the cards, but it's difficult to say when and where will that happen, especially when the market is at new all-time highs. You can't look to the left and gauge price because there's nothing to gauge. So at the moment, very, very bullish price action here for gold. I've looked at some of these past pullbacks, nice kind of bull flag there, nice push to the upside, slight consolidation, nice break to the upside. Now potentially you might see another correction form, maybe another bull flag, counter trend line break. Some type of pullback pattern could look to form because we just had a really strong rejection with that last hourly candle before continuing. But at the moment, there's no evidence to say that gold is necessarily going to turn around. Like I said, I do expect to see a bigger pullback at some point, but I'll let you guys know when I start to see some evidence of that happening. And currently, the market's just very bullish. I have marked out 2,900 up here as the next big psychological level for gold because we've just gone and broken through 2,800, which is back down there. So this is the next big psychological level for gold. We've even got 3K up there as well. And I think that's what prices maybe headed to on a bit more of a longer term outlook. But yeah, gold, very, very bullish. I was just waiting for some type of pullback pattern in the lower time frames to form and keep buying it. The moment you start to see price kind of break structure and start to form some lower highs, then maybe we can start talking about some counter trend sells and maybe a bigger pullback, what that could look like. Maybe again looking to retest the high or even retest some areas down here should we see a really big correction. But yeah, gold is looking very, very bullish, and especially with the USD weakness as well, that's really helping out gold because gold's been pretty bullish for a while and USD's been pretty bullish for a while. So now that USD isn't really bullish right now, at least right now, yeah, gold is using that to its advantage and it's absolutely flying. But yeah, looking at the dollar, after we had that strong drop to the downside the past kind of 24 hours, especially yesterday as well, breaking through that support level there, things do look pretty bearish for the dollar. I know that we are coming into support where we could bounce from, which is this area here. Of course, we had the gap there, price wicked into it, pretty big move to the upside, and we're back in the same zone now as well. So we can have a bit of a reaction, but I do expect us to continue to sell off. Main reason is we had a really bullish move here, but we failed to see the continuation to go and take out that high. Then when we had such a big bullish move like that, I was expecting price to take out the high and see some new highs. But the fact is we came down pretty hard and sold off pretty hard as well. So that gives me a big impulse, impulse pattern, an inverse V-shaped pattern, impulse up, impulse down, typically a pattern that does resemble more downside or reversal. So the odds of this low being taken out is far greater than price looking to go and take out that high. So that's kind of the way I see it right now for the dollar. Like I said, it could just be a situation where price goes and takes out that low, and then maybe we do push back up again. We'll monitor that as that goes along, as that develops. But at the moment, I do fancy USD to take out that low at 107. But it would be nice if we can have a bit of a correction first and see some upside. I did point out a retest of this zone as a nice place to short from, and then you can look to short it back to the low, which could be a decent risk reward. So that could be a nice setup on euro, maybe pound as well. Other USD pairs we'll look at in a second. But to me, the DXY does look like we're probably going to push down right now, and it does stem from this price action here. So yeah, it looks like we're forming lower highs now on the 4-hour chart. Again, it hasn't necessarily taken out any major structure, so this is still our last high low, which gave us the high all the way up there. So this is still very much the most important low right now for the DXY, and we could still very much correct and continue to the upside as long as we do respect that low. So I'm not necessarily changing my bias in the long term with the dollar, but at least in the next couple of days, like I said, to the end of the week, or maybe even the start of next week, we might still see some more downside from that point of view. So that's kind of where the bias comes from there for the dollar. But the long-term bias hasn't really been invalidated yet. We still haven't broken through this low. So yeah, until we do that, I kind of still do expect upside long term, but short term, things do look pretty bearish. Sets the die, what is up? Hope you're well. Pound Aussie, pound NZD. Yes, I will take a look for you. No problem. No problem. Happy to help, Rebecca. Happy to help. So pound NZD, pound Aussie. Last time I checked, they were looking a tad bearish. So pound Aussie, okay, so we continue to push down. So I'm looking for a push to the upside because, again, if I expand to the daily chart, just to share with you my overall view of pound NZD and pound Aussie, is that both of them are still putting in higher lows and higher highs. So it does look like there's still a trend at play here for both of them, or at least for pound Aussie now. There is a bit of resistance here, which price is struggling at, probably hence all the wicks and the rejection. So that's probably why I was seeing price struggle so much. So we might still see a move to the downside there for pound Aussie. But if we are going to sell off, I do want to see price kind of break structure, which is this low here, because of course, if I drop to the hourly chart, this is the low which gave us a new high. So price can go and break through that. Then yes, there could be some really nice sells on the way back down, at least to come back and retest the range. And that could be a very nice target to have for pound Aussie, trying to catch the next lower high in that sequence. But a break of that structure is a must. Then, of course, a pullback, and then the shorts look good. So although the trend is very much up there for pound Aussie, as we're slowly picking up pace to the upside, we are really stuck at this resistance level. Of course, if we do break through that resistance and see a strong daily candle closure above, then yeah, we probably are going to push right back to the high there. Then we start talking about some buys again. But for now, we are really struggling at the sell at that level. Numerous wicks. It looks like price might push the downside. If I go over to pound NZD, it's not a similar situation with this one because there's no major high, but we are kind of stuck with the consolidation here on the left, which gave us that move. As you can see, price is tapping into that. At the start of the week, I was looking for some buys for pound NZD, which was on the retest of the range here. Unfortunately, never saw that happen, but it doesn't look like we're going to see a continuation. I was talking about some buys yesterday on the retest of this level. Well, actually, at the start of the week, which we did see a nice reaction. Didn't see a reaction that time. And it looks like price has broken through. So again, with pound NZD, we could be forming lower highs on the way down. And these are the shorts you want to be looking at. The continuation of the lower highs there. But I would argue pound Aussie shorts look a lot better than pound NZD because with pound NZD, we still got this area here to watch out for, which gave us this big move to the upside. So although we might be shorting these lower highs, we very much could still push to the upside because we're still respecting structure. Whereas if you go to pound Aussie, we would have broken through that low and then look for shorts, which increase the odds of the trade playing out, even though that they do both do the same thing. But you always want to be in line with market structure, and that would be a nice sell there. So yeah, I would be looking at a move to the downside for pound Aussie and pound NZD. They both look like they're really struggling at those levels of resistance and supply. So probably will see a bit of reaction to the downside. I'm pretty sure for Euro NZD and Euro Aussie, which of course similar pairs to these ones, to pound NZD and pound Aussie, I'm pretty sure they've had a bit of a reaction as well. So Euro Aussie, yep, it's looking a little bit bearish. It's been selling off for the past couple of days. Still stuck in the range though. But again, the plan is pretty clear with both of these currency pairs. With Euro Aussie, we're trading at major resistance, which is this level back over here. So as you can see, major resistance, of course, price tried to break through but failed. Now we're back there again. There is major support just below us down here. If price can successfully respect this resistance, then what I would want to see is a strong break of the consolidation and a big close to the downside. That would be a key. Key signal that says, okay, momentum has failed to break higher, basically through the resistance level. And then I'll be looking at some shorts all the way back down into this level here. And of course, the plan will just be intraday pullbacks, lower lows and lower highs, and shorten that momentum back down to that low. So I want to see Euro Aussie break out the consolidation, respect the high, kind of like a head and shoulder pattern, but a weird one. Of course, that being the left head, right shoulder. But more so, we're just looking at price respecting resistance, really breaking out of a range, and then looking to trade the momentum afterwards. Euro NZD is pretty much doing the exact same thing as well. So as you can see, really nice consolidation there. And if you look to the left, see where we're trading, major resistance on the left there, really strong move to the downside, respect again over there, big move to the downside. As you can see, we're back there again. We've got the low of the range down at the support down here. Tested it a couple times. As I've been saying, I probably wouldn't look for the big swing all the way there. I think I'll just keep it pretty simple. Target 50% of the range, which is about here-ish. So I'd say that looks like a nice target to have. You can see most of the time price does make a push to the 50. So it's a pretty reasonable target to have. And even if you want to be a little bit safer, you can kind of just draw a box around the 50 there to give yourself a bit more kind of area to target, because it doesn't have to be specifically 50% on the dot, but generally speaking, 50% of that range kind of in this area. So if you can see a strong close to the downside, which could come today, you can see the current daily candles looking pretty bearish, attacking the low. Of course, we still need a lot of energy to break through. We very much could just bounce again. But should we see a strong break to the downside, a nice candle close like that, and you can drop to your intraday time frames, 4-hour, hourly chart, and then just look for those pullbacks on the way down into the low. I think there could be some nice shorts there. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I mean, you've got a nice range to work with between that low and the 50%. You're looking at about 360 pips. So again, if you can find yourself a 50 pip stop loss, 300 pip target, that's a 1 to 6. And again, you don't necessarily need to be looking for such a big target as well. You can very much keep it 1 to 2s, 1 to 3s, and then you can just take most of your profit, then hold 20%, 10% to run to try and see if you can take advantage of a bigger move. And you can leave it to run to see if you can get back to the low end of the range as well, which is about a 900 pip move. So a lot of downside there for USD. So although I'm not really a big fan of the price action, because it's just a very choppy range right now, but because if we do see a strong shift of momentum outside of that consolidation, the probability of us seeing some downside is pretty high, and we probably will make our way back to 50 there. So I think that's a decent trade. So it does look like Euro NZD, Euro Aussie, Pound Aussie and Pound NZD are starting to struggle at resistance, and they could be taking a bit of a turn. And of course, all those four currency pairs do move alike pretty much. So it's nice to see that they're kind of in sync, because when they are in sync, it does kind of increase the odds of the trade idea playing out. You don't want to be in a situation where you're looking to buy Pound NZD but sell Pound Aussie. It contradicts itself because 90% of the time they move the same way. So if your analysis says buy for Pound Aussie but says sell for Pound NZD, it means there's something not lining up there. So probably best not to take that position. But if you do see Pound NZD and Pound Aussie give you the same buy, same direction, and similar opportunities for a buy, it's always a nice confidence to have for a trade. Doesn't mean it's going to play out all the time, of course not, but it just gives you a bit more confidence in terms of taking a buy. Same with Euro USD and Pound USD. You don't want to be looking to buy Euro USD and then sell Pound USD. Doesn't really make too much sense there. Anyway, in terms of the CHF pairs, we haven't really looked at them. So as I said, with Pound CHF consolidation, still waiting for price to really break out with that one. We've got a lovely range in the market, but really the move I'm looking for is the break of the range. What's up, Tokyo? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Again, any any pairs, any markets you're looking at, feel free to let us know. But in terms of pound CHF, I'm very bearish on this one, and I'm looking for a push all the way back down to 1.08. So that's the plan with pound CHF. But of course, as we can all see, we're comfortably inside a range here. So in terms of what to do, in terms of what I need to do and what I should do, is pretty much just wait on the sidelines and wait for us to break out. If I want to be a bit more aggressive, I can be, and that would be looking to try and short the high. Not really a trade that I normally take. I did take a short here. Was that November, December? Back in December, I did take a short over there. Last month, or actually not last month. It's Feb now, isn't it? That's the month before. So I did take a short over there. So I could look to try and take that short again. Basically, the plan is if I do catch a short from here, well, I can ride it to the low of the range, and if things go very well, I can hold some positions to run in case we break out and potentially hold it to the low there. So a trade from here could turn to be a very big trade if I can catch the breakout. But then I will look to find some more entries in the retest of the range should we break out as well. So I would have positions up there, positions there, and really just take advantage of the trade idea on pound CHF. Or I could just wait for price to break the support level and then short. Either which way, I'm looking for downside there for pound CHF. We've had one high over there, second one there. I'm looking at a third in this area here for a big short. But we're taking our time. In terms of other CHF pairs, I'm mostly pretty bearish on. So Aussie CHF, again, similar kind of situation to pound CHF in terms of we're trading at some major support right now, which I'm looking for it to break so I can short it into the low here. We very much could see a push to the upside, but I'm not really interested in that. The bigger trend for Aussie CHF is still very much to the downside, as we can all see. A comfortable trend as price is pushing down. I'm looking to see if we can push all the way back to the low here and possibly take out that low as well. We do have the all-time low just below us. So that's really where I'm looking to see price get to. But in my book, things are looking pretty bearish for Aussie CHF as well. We just need to break through support first. Again, that will be the green flag to take us down. And then it'll be up to me to try and find these lower highs to short. We've already got a few at play. One over there, second there. This could be the third. And of course, we could see the next one after that. The plan is just to keep looking to short those highs on the way down. But the key thing we're looking for is the break of support. If it doesn't happen, then we could very much see price do something like that. So, yeah, I have to stay patient for that to happen. In terms of New Zealand CHF, same situation with this one as well. I've been looking for the retest of support here, but unfortunately, we just haven't quite seen it happen yet. I mean, it could happen. There's a pretty big wick to the downside there at the start of the week, so maybe we do push the upside now. But again, for New Zealand CHF, I'm still looking for more downside. We've got the lower highs here. It's not as clean as I want it to be, but as long as we do respect structure and don't break back above this support level, which of course is acting as resistance, as long as we don't break above that, I'm looking for a push into the low. Completely missed it there. And my plan is to try and catch that next lower high at the retest of that structure. So I'm looking to see if we can ride momentum to the downside. But first, I want to see if we can push up, tag that level, then start to look for some entries. But I'm not really seeing any entries here to short, really. So that's the only location that looks good. In terms of CAD CHF, I'm actually looking for a big push to the upside for CAD CHF. This one's kind of like what's the word? No problem. Emma Com's phone world. What's the word I'm looking for? I forget the word. It's left my brain. But with CAD CHF, I'm looking for buys actually for this one. But again, I'm waiting for price to to break to the upside. And if we do see, if I am wrong about the bias for CHF, because I'm looking for most CHF pairs to continue heading lower, but if I'm wrong with that bias and CAD CHF does break to the upside, and other CHF pairs do break to the upside as well, then I'll be focused on CAD CHF and looking for pullbacks for this one for a big buy. Again, with this one, if I expand to, well, here's the daily chart already. If we look at the bigger picture of this one, like I've been saying, we've been stuck in this bearish channel for a while. And if we do break outside of the consolidation, we probably will push back to the upper end of the channel. And that will be the trade idea I'm looking to take advantage of, because we've had a really big sell. We've been kind of hugging the lower end of the channel, or at least the lower half anyway. You can see kind of this midpoint here. We've been stuck halfway. So it looks like price might want to push back to the upside now. And if that's the case, there could be some really nice breakouts, retest, and some buys from that regard. So I do like CAD CHF to the upside here, but of course the breakout is essential. Then finally you got Euro CHF, which I'm not really interested at all, really. It's a similar boat to CAD CHF in terms of we do have a bearish channel, which maybe price is getting ready to see a bigger move to the upside to pretty soon. So again, there's your channel. Maybe price is getting ready for a move like that back to the upper ends after coming to the low. But in terms of the price action, it's not looking as clean. It's a bit all over the place. We did break structure over here. We've been forming higher highs and higher lows for a while. But yeah, it's just very corrective, lacking momentum, and it's not really looking very clean to trade. So yeah, Euro CHF, I think I'd just stay away. If we do break to the upside, I'll focus on pound CHF for the buys, CAD CHF for the buys, sorry. If you do break to the downside, I'll focus on pound CHF for the sells. And that's kind of what makes sense to me. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on that. But in terms of my watch list for the remainder of the week, like I said, because USD is looking pretty weak, I do think we'll probably see some more upside for Euro USD, Pound USD. But what I like a lot is downside for dollar CAD. I think dollar CAD looks really, really good because we had such a massive fake to the upside. We're coming from a really big level in the weekly chart as well. If I go to the weekly chart, you can see where dollar CAD's coming from. Massive, massive resistance here on the left. As you can see, huge rejection once over there, twice over there as well. So to me, dollar CAD looks like a really nice opportunity. Each time we've been here, we've seen colossal moves to the downside, and we actually spiked through it as well. So we actually taken out liquidity above that too, and we haven't done that since 2016. So to me, dollar CAD's coming from a big, big level. And if I drop to the 4-hour chart, if I clean up price action just a little bit because it's a bit choppy around here. So as we can see, we've got the consolidation over here, which of course prices fake to the upside at the beginning at the end of last week. You probably would have had a lot of sellers all positioned around here with stops above the high. Probably majority of retail traders would have been very, very short for dollar CAD. Of course, with that gap, that would have taken out a lot of traders. And then, of course, since then, prices had such a hefty sell to the downside. To me, this looks like a very, very, very aggressive fake out. And now that price has done that, this looks like potentially the top of this trend. Dollar CAD's been trending to the upside since September as well. Really big move to the upside. This looks like this might be the top of that trend, or at least the temporary top. For a bigger pullback, maybe if dollar CAD's going to push to the upside, that could still be the case. There's a pretty big level just below us here on the weekly chart that you need to watch out for. Major resistance across this level here as well. So that's kind of where I do expect the price to push into, and that could be what sends us back to the upside. So it might be a temporary top for the trend, not necessarily that I expect price to completely sell off on us. But because we had such a big fake out with a lot of momentum here to the downside, this is a very, very strong drop there for dollar CAD. I do like these shorts. There's two ways I'm looking to trade it. One's a little bit more aggressive than the other. One's a bit more conservative. So the conservative trade would just be waiting for price to break support, aka break the range, look for some pullbacks, maybe a retest of the low of the range. That would be nice. And then take the shorts to the downside back to 1.4. The more aggressive trade would be trying to look for price to, the more aggressive trade would be if, let's say, for example, price does hold this support level and we do push up, then it would be looking to try and anticipate a pullback within the range, hopefully back at the high. So if we retest the high of the range, that would be a nice place to short from, and then trying to hold a trade from there. So at least, target back to the low, but expecting a bigger move. The reason why it's a bit more aggressive, because number one, you're still in the range. Number two, your price could very much bounce at the low, and then you'd be trapped inside of there. And of course, this is conservative because at least you've got evidence of price breaking support again. So we probably will continue lower. But both look like really good opportunities. Of course, the benefit of this one is that you're selling from a lot higher up. So if it does play out, your risk reward's a lot greater. And then you can always look to add positions on a retest of a level as well. Doesn't mean you just have to short there and just that'll be your only position. But I do really like dollar CAD to the downside. Big fade to the upper side, using that to my advantage. And now I do expect price to continue to sell off. And what really is the cherry on top is how impulsive the move has been. If dollar CAD kind of slowly pushed down and correctively sold off, that would be like an all right opportunity. But because we sell off very aggressively after a big fake out, after tapping into a major weekly level, I think there's a really good chance that dollar CAD does continue to sell off. And especially with DXY looking pretty bearish as well, taking out some lows there too. I do think price is going to continue lower for the DXY as well. Yes, we might see a bit of a pullback, which will be great if we do. I do expect this low here to be taken out there for the DXY. So I'm pretty bearish on USD, at least for the next few days, at least to take out that low at 107. Of course, we still got this low here to contend with as well. Like I said, this is the last significant low, which gave us the new high. So breaking through this low is not technically a break of structure because this low didn't give us new highs. It gave us a lower high. So technically speaking, price can break through the low and still comfortably continue higher. So, yeah, price breaking through that low doesn't change my bias in the long term. We have to take out that low for that to be the case. But at least for the next 2-3 days, I do expect to see more downside and at least take out this low here. So I do expect dollar CAD to keep pushing as well. So that's what's making me very, very bearish. And like I said, pound USD probably will push up as well. If USD stays weak, if we break through 1.25, if pound USD takes out the high here, then that's probably going to take pound USD further as well. This was a major low on the 4-hour chart, which gave us a big push. It looks like price is about to break through that. And Aussie dollar as well at major support. That looks like it's trying to push the upside as well. And of course, you've got gold and silver, which are still looking very bullish too. So it does look like USD majors are trying to push the upside, really aggressive moves. It does look like USD majors might be seeing a bigger move than expected, and especially with DXY looking pretty bearish as well, being the orchestrator of that. So dollar CAD in terms of the USD markets looks the best to me, and looks like the pair that not necessarily could go the furthest, but it's got a lot of momentum, especially at that range there. Looks like we manipulated that, so I'll be focusing on this one quite a lot. And there's two opportunities I'm looking at, whether the break and retest or we get the bigger pullback to the high of the range. Either which way, looking to short, targets more or less down at 1.4. But we'll see how the setup comes. I look to manage the trade as we go along. This is the one I'm going to focus on the most. And of course, silver as well. I do really like silver too. Silver pullbacks, retest of this level here. That looks like a really nice trade for me. And again, I like silver as well because I'm targeting the high up there. So we've got a long, long way to go. So silver longs and dollar CAD shorts are the two USD pairs that look really, really good to me. So hopefully you can set up with those pairs in the next kind of day or two and take those trades. And they both do rely on USD weakness as well. But guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. If you guys have found it useful, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Check out the Elevating Trades Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. Like I said, free to join. You can find out more information about Elevating Traders. You can chat with other traders, chat with myself. I share opportunities there as well, what I'm looking at. So if you are interested, feel free to go check it out. Like I said, link to that in the description or also at the top of the chat. But guys, I will be live again tomorrow. As always, every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you're free, pop in, say hi, come and chat with us. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.